All right, everybody, welcome to our last archetype that we're going to cover, the mystic.
Not the
Nope, not the
last.
last one.
It is not.
I thought the sage was the I thought the mystic was the last one.
No,
Shit.
we still have the mystic, and so we'll do that one, and then the sage is next.
Oh, the sage is after the mystic. Oh,
The
good to
wise
know.
woman, yeah.
Okay.
So the mystic slash wild woman, which I actually prefer, and maybe we'll make this actually a wild woman label. Oh, I feel like she is one of my favorite archetypes because this archetype I feel like helped me break free in so many ways. Because she's the most feeling, she's instinctual and inhibitionless. Is that? Oh, wow, that's really hard to say. She seeks freedom in all parts of her life. She has an awakened soul and connects deeply to herself and spirit. Um, she dances to the beat of her own drum, and she's deep and mysterious and unapologetically real, like just her.
Mhm.
And I think that's what speaks to me most. And I think that is one of the things in my life that I'm like, I want to be my authentic self.
Yes.
Um, she's very in touch with spirituality and she's a force to be reckoned with. Um, she trusts her wealth of wisdom, and is tapped into what lies behind her body, like beyond body. It's the outside world, spirituality that she's tapped into. Let's see what else. She's primal, fierce, and not afraid to go after what she wants. And this may feel chaotic at times. Whenever you think of a wild woman, a mystic, it's like here and there, and maybe this is happening over here, and it's a little bit of chaos, but that chaos can lead to change, just like kind of with the huntress. She challenges the status quo, and these sometimes are great healers of the mind, body, and soul. And she's not afraid to fight for herself and for those that she cares about. So that's kind of like the overall like balanced archetype, wild woman. I'm sorry. Um, so I don't know. What does that bring up for you, Megan?
I want to be her.
Yeah, she sounds so free and like
Like fuck the other archetypes. I want to be her.
yes. I want to be the wild woman.
Right. And I think I love this sort of ties back to the Wild Courageous Life series.
Yes.
And, you know, how do we become how do we free ourselves from the expectations of others, from the expectations of our cultures, from the expectations of the people in our lives? And I love that free spirit. I I I think I've channeled a little bit of that lately, just in the oh, what are people going to say if I do a holistic podcast?
Yes.
And I
We're gonna.
think it really took me like no, it took you giving me that awesome tarot card reading saying no matter how much celery juice, you didn't say this is my interpretation of what you had told me, but you can have all the veggies and celery juice in the world, but if you're not living your authentic self, if you're not doing what you're here to do, then you'll die an early death. And that was the first time that I was like, holy shit. I don't give a fuck what other people think if it means my life.
Yeah.
And I think that was my first taste, or not maybe my first, but my most profound taste of the mystic energy is just, man, fuck, I don't give a shit. I'm going to do whatever I want because this is my life. This isn't your life. And
Yes.
I'm wasting it worrying about what you are going to think about me when I really don't care.
Yeah. Like when we place so much value on what other people think, and instead of being like, this is my life though, like I'm the one living it. And honestly, everyone else is trying to live their life and they can talk shit about yours or do all these other things. But like ultimately, they really only care about their life.
Right.
I mean, underneath it all. And I'm like, your thoughts and their actions are manipulating what I'm doing. And I
Hmm.
don't like that. I want to be the one pulling the strings. I want to be
Right.
the one living freely and getting really in tune and in touch. That's what I also think about when the wild woman is like, she is in tune with who the fuck she is. and she's going to be free, and she's going to express and explore all, all that could be of her.
Mhm. Without fear, without reservation,
Yeah. And unapologetically. And
unapologetic.
yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to fucking live free. And she's fierce and in her stance of like, I'm going to be authentic to myself, and this is who the fuck I am.
Mhm.
Take it or leave it.
What does that
So,
look like when it's not in balance?
yes. So it can be dangerous, right? Whenever you're so free and boundaryless sometimes, that I'm sure that the things that come out of your mouth are not always wise to say.
Right.
Maybe timing's off. Maybe you get yourself into situations that aren't safe. Like in all for all of those reasons. The shadow side is like unpredictability, chaotic. Um and I resonate deeply with this one is like you got to find ways to express anger in a healthy way. And it's that I think there can be an anger underneath that. Yeah, I know. I think we both have that.
I feel like I just got called out.
Yeah. Like I think that's one of the things that pushed me more to the wild woman is the all this anger I almost had suppressed within me. And how we were talking about was it in The Huntress maybe that I was talking about that pendulum of like
Mhm.
swinging. I feel like there was a lot of anger, and it may have been even anger at myself for just not being me
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Not listening
figuring
to yourself, not
yeah,
honoring yourself, but honoring the wishes and the needs and the wants of others.
yeah. Or what society yeah, all of society told me I was supposed to be, or what I told myself I was supposed to be,
Right.
and not living that. So expressing that that anger in a healthy way has been over time. I'm trying to think like, how do I now express my anger? A lot of it is the other day I was like waking up out of a dream and I just was like, I feel like screaming right now, which I don't know if I've ever experienced. But I was like, so I went and while I was driving in my car, I just slightly screamed. I did scream. I was like, I didn't get it out. But it wasn't at my kids. It wasn't at like
Right. You just
for
screamed into the ether.
yes. And like through movement, exercise, dancing, um I want to say journaling, but I love how Gary Vee was like, journaling's overrated. And I was like, yeah, it fucking is actually. Like,
I'm sorry. When I'm angry, the last thing on my mind is, I
that's
think I need to sit
fucking,
down and write it out. No, I'm punching pillows. I'm like
yeah.
screaming. I'm, "Ah!" Or I'm going out and I'm doing like a bunch of squats really fast because I'm so fucking mad.
Yeah. Like those are some maybe healthier outlets than like taking it out on other people. Road rage. Um, I think it's probably moving my body is the best way for me to move through anger.
I, so I won't blame the pandemic on this because if I'm honest, I had stopped working out like 6 months before the pandemic happened. But it was like the last time I worked out. I just started working out probably 3 weeks ago because and in this past what year and a half, I don't even know how long it's been, but however long it's been, I have noticed that I'm just significantly angrier. And it hit me 3 weeks ago, well, maybe you should start working out again. Maybe the reason you weren't angry when you were working out was because you were working out. And it's been a game changer. I think we get I don't know how to describe it other than the feeling of I think we almost have to express we have to get energy out of us in some
Yes.
way. I
Yes.
think it gets built up in our bodies, for a variety of different reasons, but I think we have to do something to get that energy out. Otherwise, it does manifest itself as anger or
Well, then it's
addiction
yeah. Yeah.
or really any, unhealthy self-sabotaging habits, right? And I think we have to we have to move it out of us, just like you'd pass food not to be
Just like you
gross.
detox,
Just
just
like
like
you
you detox, yeah.
detox and you poop things out, I think you have to do the same thing with your energy. I think you have to
Yeah.
somehow release it and vent it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just sits
Festers and
and
sits, yes.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I feel like I dancing, singing, where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give, like whatever it is. Whatever kind of song it would be.
Right.
Um, those things I feel like help me express my anger, and then I'm able to like move more deeply into the mystic side of the wild woman, right? Where I'm like, or being in nature too.
Yeah.
Like just taking a walk around the block. I mean, whatever, like being there helps me reverse into the spiritual side and connect with myself, and therefore honestly more with spirit when I connect with myself. So,
Why do you think that why do you think that the mystic or the wild woman's when it why is anger what happens when they're not in balance? Is it because they're so
well, when someone doesn't let you be free and yourself, like think about a kid even.
yeah,
Like you're like, this is my altar, like I'm gonna be fucking angry. But I think that that can be true probably for a lot of these archetypes. Um, you know, I, I think the maiden, I wonder what her alter emotion would be. I must feel like a little like more of a sadness, overwhelm maybe.
yeah.
Um Huntress, I can feel that like fire too, Queen energy fire. But I feel like Queen could maybe be more like, I'm gonna fucking get you. Or like, I don't know what it would like, it's sort of like,
The queen doesn't get angry, the queen makes a plan.
yes. Yeah. She fucking knows what to do. She's gonna make a plan to get your ass.
She channels that anger into her plan to ruin your life.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. To manipulate, right? So I don't know. I think instinctually that's almost like the altar of that. Like this is freedom, and when that's repressed, there's anger.
Frustration, which
Yeah,
is
and I think we see that
obviously
a
another
lot
form
in
of
our
anger.
society. Like think about how many people are not connected to spirit, how many people don't get to live their life freely.
Right.
Are like literally in a container, and whether from they've been conditioned since we were young to not be whatever it is that we want to express, we haven't been allowed to express.
Mhm.
And so that I think over time definitely festers like with that comes anger and resentment and all of those things.
So how do you feel about the, mystic wild woman energy? I feel like you are the embodiment of that.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
I feel that too. I feel probably the most connected to the wild woman, where I'm like, but I think that's what I'm seeking out. And whenever I did that, the Simon Sinek Know Your Why, my sentence at the end was you create a why statement at the end of this thing that you do, I guess this, I don't know. And mine was to demonstrate courage so that I and others can be their authentic selves. And I think that's almost written for the wild woman, right? Like you
Yeah.
can freely be yourself and be courageous in it and be connected to spirit, because that's truly like as a healer, teacher, that is what I've always been drawn to.
Mhm.
I haven't high achievement of the huntress, those things are a little lower on the a scale of like, oh, that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
But to be free and live in this free state of I want to wear this today and I want to do this today and I want to sing today and then tomorrow I want to paint and then tomorrow I want to build a fort and like I want to create herbs, I want to cook this medicinal thing and I want to help like yeah, thank you for saying that and recognizing that, because that is what I feel to my core.
Well, good. Well, you're living it because if I can
I'm
tell
trying.
and sometimes I wonder if I can tell anything, so Well, that's
But
awesome.
but don't you think that, well, and I'm curious now what you feel about the wild woman, because I think whenever you see someone being a wild woman, it can be a big like, "Ooh, whoa, look at that lady." Like, ah.
When I see a wild woman, I think, how do I how can I let go of whatever I'm holding on to be more like that?
Mm,
How can I live a freer life? A life where I don't give a fuck if all the moms in the carpool line stare at me in my crop top. Like,
mhm.
how do I get to that point? And I think, for me, it's taking little steps every day. Like, going back to clothes, like I'll put something on, I'm like, it just doesn't look good on me today. And then I make myself, no, you want to wear this today? Fuck it.
Yes.
You want to become YouTube famous and make recipes on Instagram? Who cares if 20,000 other 16-year-olds or 20 somethings do that? Just do it. If that's what you want to do it. Who cares if it's already been done?
Yeah.
Just
It's
and who
yeah.
cares if you have 5 followers? You're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. And I think for me it was realizing I was doing it for me, not for them. I
Mhm.
needed to shift the reason why I was doing things. Am I doing this to make me happy or am I doing this to make somebody else happy?
Yeah. Well, it goes into like this, we're taught not to be selfish, which
Mhm.
is understandable. Like as a society and community, we do need people to be selfless, but we also need to be like, I also need to do this for me. And we both were like, we just need to get some things out, and we love to talk and we love to like share what we're interested in and what we've learned and our experiences. And so if that benefits us first, that's awesome. And if it benefits other people, if it's an inspiration to them, bonus.
Right.
We just have to do it. It's literally eating us up inside to not. It keeps
Yes.
pinging us and pinging us and pinging us like, hey, 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 keep
Let
do
me
it, do
out.
it, do
Let
it.
me out.
Yeah.
That's how I felt for years. Just like I felt like I was on the verge of this shift, but nothing was happening.
Mhm.
And then I just it's the universe started putting the right people in my life and all of a sudden I was able to sort of, well, I think letting go of others' expectations made room for these people to come into my life to make my dreams come true. Like doing a podcast, getting a YouTube channel. I think stepping into that freedom of the mystic is what was the catalyst for that change for me.
Yeah. And now, like, because I know we're gonna try and wrap this up, but like, who do you think of whenever you think of the wild woman? Like, is there anyone like that other people could relate to in a movie or, um,
You're going to make me I swear I watch other movies outside of Disney movies. I
everyone
swear.
knows them, so it's fine.
Um okay, the first thing that came up was Brave, the movie Brave about the
Mhm.
Scottish princess and how her mom was like, "No, you have to do princessy things and you have to get married and you have to be a queen and you have to do queen things." And she's like, "I don't want to fucking do that. I
Mhm.
want to ride my horse and shoot arrows and all these guys you're trying to hook me up with are clearly losers." And I just obviously that the moral of that cartoon was, that the relationship between mother and daughter and seeing it from both sides of the coin, right?
Mhm.
But when you're bringing up the mystic archetype, I think of the wild woman and her wild red hair, and
Yeah.
she does what she wants to do.
Yeah. I think so too. And I think of this may go into wise woman slash wild woman, but I do think of those ladies who, if they're in a movie, they're, you know, crushing herbs and healing people, and they're the ones maybe living on the edge of society, or they're stirring the pot too, right? Like, yeah. Like there's a sense where there's a sense of freedom, that's where I feel the wild woman.
Yeah, I do too. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one. All right.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do okay. For real last one. The sage, right? That one's
Yes.
next.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys at the sage.